Hey, nerds. We understand you. Drop those controllers. Lose the wizard hat. And ready your Cheetos. It's time for some hard-hitting talk about the movies, books, and games you love. So get ready, oh searcher of useless knowledge. It's time to step into the Geek Cave. Now, broadcasting from a top secret and totally awesome hidden base, I'm Ken Harris, and here's Darrin Wright, Justin White, and Chad Savage.
And welcome to another 100% tariff-free edition of Geek Podcast Comics. I'm Darrin. Oh, yeah.
And I'm Chad.
Yeah, we're brought to you by Gamefly. Membership options for every budget. Gifts for gamers of all ages. Gamefly's got thousands of titles you can keep as long as you want. And when you're done, just send it back with a postage-paid envelope for a new one, or keep it forever and pay a lot less than those in-store prices. Sign up for a free 30-day trial right now using the link at geektapepodcast.com. Yes, Justin is still using his accrued vacation time. So
we were a little too generous with that.
We were a little too generous. Well, I mean, it's been more than 10 years.
Yeah.
It stacked. The problem was making it stack.
The problem was making it stack.
And not making sure that Justin took his time whenever he had time to take.
You know, it's not our responsibility.
It really isn't. In fact, why don't we just get him on the phone? Let's get him on the phone.
Call him. Yeah. All right, hold on.
See where this guy is.
Just a second. Okay.
Hello.
Hey, Justin. We're wondering, how are you?
Oh, pretty good. The weather here's pretty great.
Where are you right now?
Well, I'm... hold on a second.
Where were the other drugs going?
I never knew. I don't know. I swear to God.
Swear to me!
I'll call you back.
He sounds busy.
You know,
yeah.
I guess it's really our fault for breaking in on his vacation time.
Really it is. I mean, what Justin does, with Justin's associates or whatever is up to Justin.
It really is.
So,
it really is. I guess we're going to muddle through...
we're going to do it again. So
we're gonna do it.
If y'all know where... if you can guess where Justin is, tell us in the Discord, because I'd love to know.
Sounds intense.
Yeah.
And wet.
Speaking of...
Be gentle. Be gentle.
Be gentle.
Be gentle.
It's Darrin's first time. Motherfucker, I told you be gentle. You son of a bitch.
My initial intro for this was just going to be yeehaw, but that was a better transition.
You know what? I'm for it.
So,
Go for it.
Welcome to Darrin's first time. So, I'm just going to read you the synopsis of this book here. A supernatural western about a man named Dirt, who is out to avenge his wife's death with nothing but a bloodthirsty vulture to guide his way. What happens when the story of Dirt's pain gets stolen by others and the world he thought he understood turns upside down?
Hold on. It's Dirk.
D-I-R-T.
Oh,
it's
God.
Dirt.
It's
yeah.
Dirt.
It's Dirt.
Is his first name Joe?
No, that's his name's just Dirt.
Dirt.
So anyway, that's the synopsis.
What's the bird's name?
I haven't gotten that far. Give me a second. Let me build to it.
All right.
Because we don't know. This is the book Above Snakes. Above Snakes
is dirt. That's not how snakes work.
It's a 2023 comic from Image. I just read you the synopsis of the first 5 issues. How much of that actually happens in issue number 1, which is the one I read? Not as much. So let's get started, shall we? Dirt is, in fact, out to avenge his wife, but, as he says, getting revenge on people who killed your family is apparently a popular thing in the Old West, as he and others like him tend to encounter each other at saloons and taverns. There's swapping stories such as, hey, there you are, you get them sons of bitches that killed your family? Not yet, but when I do, and then they, trade trade shots of whiskey, that kind of thing. Now, as for the bloodthirsty vulture, I guess that kind of happens, but the vulture is yellow and kind of see-through, and apparently only Dirt can see it.
Yellow is in scared, or yellow is in colored like a canary?
Yellow as in if Sinestro were projecting it from his ring.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. But only Dirt can see it. It also makes fun of him for having a dead family, which is, I mean, that's kind of like a thing a vulture would do.
They were delicious.
Well, no, just like, it's one of those where the book starts with Dirt just lying on the ground looking up at the sky, and the vulture's like, you're lazy. And he's like, so what? And the vulture's like, your family's dead. And then a half second later, the vulture's like, was that too much?
Oh, no, that's fine.
No, Dirt says that was a bit too much. But then the vulture just keeps going on. Okay, so your family's dead and you're lazy. Because the vulture is trying to nudge him to go towards this town where there's a rumor that the gang that killed Dirt's wife is there. And they have taken to kidnapping teenage girls and doing things that guys in the Old West would do when they kidnap teenage girls, So he meets a woman on the edge of town, an old hag who says that her daughter is among the victims. He makes his way in, takes out most of the gang. The freed women handle the ringleader themselves, Then it comes out that the woman that Dirt met at the edge of town had actually willingly sold her daughter to the gang because her daughter was mute.
Okay.
So Dirt lets the rescued women do, quote, whatever you want to the old lady who helped the gang, and he walks away as she screams for mercy. And that's pretty much where the first issue ends.
Dark?
Yep. Above Snakes...
Sorry, Dirt?
Above Snakes is okay.
Mm-hmm.
The art is fine. The violence is kind of explicit, but also censored enough where they could sell this in many comic book stores, The idea of a hallucinogenic vulture encouraging a cowboy to engage in bloodletting is unique. I'll give it that. Mm-hmm. But for whatever reason, this one didn't grab me.
You do realize how this ends, don't you? Is that all of these villains and bad guys that Dirt kills along the way all have families.
They do.
That then come searching for him.
Because it's a popular thing to do in the Old West. So I would, if I were you, I would give this one a little polite hat tip and, but maybe borrow it from Hoopla before you pull the trigger.
Oh, Hoopla's wonderful for this
stuff. Hoopla is wonderful for just such an occasion like this. So Above Snakes is like So.
All right. Just such an occasion.
Just such an occasion.
Well, you know that you let me borrow a whole bunch of Green Lantern stuff again.
I did. I love Jessica Cruz, and you were interested in reading about a Green Lantern.
And it's taken me a little bit of time to get used to her.
Yeah.
Well, because I read that whole Hal Jordan bit, and
she's so different from Hal.
Very different, and it's an excellently written character.
Yeah, I love her.
I'm just not firmly in her corner yet.
It's not really grabbing you, yeah.
It's not yet.
Okay.
But I like the mystery. But I guess I've got a stupid question.
Well, I am contractually obligated to inform you that there are no stupid questions.
And now it's time for Chad Savage's Stupid Question.
Contractually obligated.
Contractually obligated is the best kind of obligated because you can't get out of it.
So, lantern constructs, they're all hard light.
Yes.
So, light.
Essentially, yes.
So, if a lantern was in a place with just blindingly bright green light, do their constructs count as stealth tech? Or like if a red lantern were in a film development room, where they have the little red light.
We could go like so many places with this. What if you put the black lantern in like a pitch black room?
Yeah.
Is there light? Does he do anything?
And for that matter, does a white lantern's stuff ever show up?
Can you even see it?
I mean, we just kind of assume that it's artistic license that they're drawing this, but it's light. Can we see it at all? Or is it just what we're seeing the Green Lanterns imagine?
In the movie with Ryan Reynolds.
Go on. I'm looking forward to where this goes.
And then there's the jets. There's a big yellow space cloud. And let me get back to you.
Okay. Just as well.
There was no way that I could use the Ryan Reynolds movie to save it. And I like the Ryan Reynolds movie, but I couldn't.
I liked it once. You know, when I tried to watch it the second time, I was just like, there's a lot of holes here.
There are a lot of holes.
His charisma saves a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he and Blake were fun.
Yeah. So I did read another comic, though.
Oh, okay.
Hoopla is great for such occasions.
I've got 2 books on standby right now.
So I read one called Bruce Wayne, Not Super.
Okay.
In a world which all the supers of the world, both heroes and villains, are middle school aged.
So it's DC Superhero Girls.
One school exists to educate them all.
It's DC Superhero Girls. Mm-hmm. Okay.
In that school, one boy is there purely as a Nepo baby because his only powers are money and connections. But young Bruce Wayne wants nothing more than to be a vigilante. And he will fail again and again and again in trying to do so before almost kind of not really but sort of succeeding later. This is a fine book for middle schoolers.
I figured, yes.
But not for adults. It lacks both gravity and punch. It's a B- book.
Okay. All right.
For me. Middle schoolers, your mileage may vary.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, hey, anything that gets kids and young adults interested in the mythology.
So it's not just mythology. I was actually reading this, and if in regular chapter books that a lot of schools are going to present because you need to be able to know how to read, those kind of things, you're going to get an average of like 1,000 unique words. Comics, 5,000.
Oh, yeah.
Because comics lean into that wacky, weird, kind of stuff. And words that don't make sense anywhere else. The hydrolyzer beam. That means nothing, but you still have to be able to pronounce it.
Yeah.
And kind of put in your mind what that is.
We got to send Killtipsism to the Phantom Zone.
Yes. It's ridiculous and nuts. But read comics, kids. Read comics. They're great stories, and there's always a storyboard to help you with context.
Yeah, and hey, parents, this is expanding their vocabulary.
Expanding their vocabulary, expanding their
artistic appreciation.
And there are genres of all kinds. We just heard about crazy westerns and spacefaring, police. And I'm reading Superman Unchained again
yeah.
because it's really good.
It is really good.
There's so much out there. Let your kids read comics. Don't put them down. Go to the library if you don't want to buy them. Library will have them, I promise.
Oh, yeah.
And if they pick up Watchmen and they're only 7, tell them to wait.
Yeah, there's a few. Like Spawn, Watchmen, maybe put a pin in that.
Batman Year One. Really, keep them away from a lot of Batman unless you've got a librarian there who knows their stuff.
While we're
have them read Bruce Wayne, Not Super.
Yeah. While we're on the subject of in comics in general, I don't mean to jump around here, but we did have a question from the Discord.
Okay.
Gungraves, who filled in on week 3 recently, had
good
the
job
question.
too.
Yeah, he did a great job. He had this question: everyone wants to be the hero of the story. Which villain would our hosts like to be?
Villain. For me, that's the what kind of mayhem do I want? But also, what kind of hero do I want? And how do I want them to deal with me?
Yeah.
And so, over and above, one of the Flash's villains.
Whether it's Zoom or Savitar or Reverse Flash.
Think more the Trickster
or
Captain
so
Cold
the
or
Rogues.
Boomerang.
The
the Rogues. Because overwhelmingly the Flash, he deals with them, but he's also pretty kind to them.
Got me again, Flash. Yeah.
Got me again, Flash. But if we're picking something else along those rounds, Clayface.
Okay.
A guy.
He's a thespian.
But a guy who can master of disguise kind of stuff. I think that would be really fun.
Yeah.
The idea of try on a whole new everything.
Yeah, I just see that. I would want to be a villain who's right. You know what I mean?
So
like Magneto.
Ozymandias,
yes.
Do not read Watchmen if you are under 10.
Please, for the love of God, we don't need the complaints. But
the legal department is already at max capacity.
But I can't really say Magneto because he hasn't been a villain for like 20 years now.
Dr. Doom, then?
Ooh, Dr. Doom's a good one because he's pragmatic.
Mm-hmm.
He's a villain to everyone else, but he is the best thing possible to his people. He knows how to run that kingdom. He runs it well.
Mm-hmm.
Is he a terrorist? On occasion. But does he have ulterior motives that make it the best for his people? Usually. So yeah, and he tells Reed Richards where to stick it. So
and that just needs to happen.
It
all
needs
the
to
time
happen
because Ben and Sue and Johnny certainly aren't doing that.
No, and Reed needs to be humbled a little bit. So Dr. Doom.
Mm-hmm. Have you read any of the the new stuff with Doom or whatnot, where he's like taken over basically the world?
No, I know that he recently had like a run in Amazing Spider-Man. Called like the 9 Deaths of Spider-Man or something like that. I haven't really been keeping. I've been keeping up with the Ultimate and not really much else modern.
I haven't read that one yet. My spouse was telling me about this new one world or one world according to Doom or something.
Yeah, I mean like in Secret.
I don't remember what it's called.
In Secret Wars, he was kind of like a god, and I think that he's still being able to do something like that.
So in this one, he's effectively taken over, and the Fantastic Four, all these heroes are trying to just publicize, trying to say, this guy is bad news. Except literally anyone who is a normal kind of person in the socioeconomic ladder, the middle to the low to about middle high, everything's fine.
Everyone's doing well.
They're doing fine because it turns out, really, villains are only attacking the wealthy. If you ain't got shit, then there don't be shit. Only the mad ones. Joker doesn't care. Kind of thing. But most villains, they want money.
And Doom doesn't need money.
And Doom doesn't need it.
Because Doom, persists. And so he just,
So it's funny to me, I really like the idea, and it makes me want to read the comic, this idea of you have a villain that probably has nefarious things in mind. That's probably got
his last name is Doom.
Yes. But at the same time, it's like, what do we get an Incredibles kind of thing where suddenly you just have a whole bunch of people like, the heroes just keep messing stuff up.
Yeah.
With their non-accountability.
Yeah. Huh.
So, anyway. I think Dr. Doom's a great choice for you. Me, Clayface, or Trickster, Captain Cold, Boomerang, those the Flash rogues people that really they're just getting into shenanigans.
They're just getting into like silliness. Although Mirror Master is probably pretty fun to be.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Or King Tut.
Oh, let's do Batman 60s, yeah.
Yeah, King Tut would be an interesting one.
Oh, yeah. Or Maxie Zeus.
Oh, yeah, Maxie Zeus.
Maxie Zeus.
Not the bookworm. Just giant book in the middle of the street. What the heck is that? A 60s villain.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful in today's world. Just something that makes no earthly sense, creates all kind of havoc, but ultimately is harmless.
Yes. Read my murderous volume, Batman.
Yeah. Good question.
Yeah, great question.
Oh, so much more we can mine out of that.
We could definitely.
Hey, Justin.
Yeah, have to get him to do a villain of the week when he gets back.
Ooh.
Yeah.
In the voice of the villain?
No, God, no. We want to sustain those vocal cords. Do you have anything else?
No, I had my stupid question. I had a review, and I've had a villain or three that I wouldn't mind being.
All right. Well,
if I existed in a fantasy world of heroes.
Well, that sounds pretty nice right about now. Hey, Kent.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Prepare yourself for Justin's Long Box. Yeah, baby. Extra long.
And welcome to the Long Box. I'm filling in for Justin. And let me tell you about a character. I don't know how often I've come across this in comics where I encounter a character who comes before another character's book, but is best known for his successor's book. Do you know what that means?
It was not an elegant way of saying it,
I'm
but
sorry.
I think I got what you're... Somebody who came from a book previous, but is better known for a book that wasn't theirs.
Yeah, someone who debuted in his own book.
Like Harley Quinn ended up in the comics, but is known for...
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about Tech Jacket. Zach Thompson is a high school student. He had his own Image comic series. It ran from November 2002 to April 2003.
Okay, so not a long run.
Not a long run, not a very successful run, but then he showed up in Invincible.
Okay.
Here's the crazy part, and then we'll get into his kind of backstory. Invincible's first appearance was in Tech Jacket.
Oh.
And now everyone knows Tech Jacket from Invincible.
Okay.
That's got to sting if you're a fictional character. A little bit. But all right, anyway. So this is the best way I can explain this as think high schooler finds Iron Man-esque backpack.
Blue Beetle?
Kind of like the Jaime Reyes version of Blue Beetle, actually,
okay.
The more I think of it. So Zach is this high school student. He finds a crash-landed spaceship, so we got a Hal Jordan situation on our hands here. He finds a dying alien inside. Again, Hal Jordan situation. And
or Jonathan Kent.
Yeah, or Jonathan Kent. Yeah. Heart attack right there. It's over. But anyway, this alien, tries to save Zach because his ship is about to blow up and transfers his tech jacket to Zach, permanently bonds to him, and it's basically like an Iron Man suit, except it's got its own AI, and it doesn't respond to, like, Girl Friday or Jarvis or anything like that. The alien race was called a Geldarian, and it turns out that Zach's powers with the tech suit are better than anything the Geldarian race could have had, because while they're highly intelligent, they're physically weak.
Oh. And
Zach is your average high school student, but even an average high school student is hella strong compared to these guys.
Okay.
So eventually aliens arrive on Earth. They're investigating the death of their comrade. They come across the missing suit, and there's this fleshy thing inside it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, Zach probably killed our guy.
Right.
So we're gonna have to kill him. We're gonna have to kill him. It's the only thing we can do. But then they find out that he's actually way stronger than us. So they recruit him instead for a decades-long war that they've been having with another alien race called the Kresh.
Isn't that what happened with Liechtenstein or something?
Little
like
bit.
In Luxembourg, one of those nations like sent 100 soldiers into Italy and came back with 101.
Yeah. So, he does the whole training montage thing. He leads the Geldarian army in a critical battle. They turn the tide of the war. They beat the Kresh. Everything's great. And he's released from his obligations. He can return to Earth. He can reunite with his parents. And he decides he's going to become a superhero. And then the series just kind of ended because nobody was buying the books. But then Invincible happened.
Yeah.
Because Invincible was like a background character during the whole war with the Geldarians and the Kresh.
Mm-hmm.
And when Invincible becomes this skyrocketing success because of Robert Kirkman's writing and all. And I love Invincible. I've read the whole run a few times, and the Amazon series is doing it right so far. They brought the series back. They brought Tech Jacket back for a small run, 2014 to 2015. Zach is a little bit more experienced. He deals with another alien invasion. That kind of seems to be his thing. But at the end of the day, his powers are basically what you expect an Iron Man suit to have. High-tech capabilities, flight, etc., etc., etc. So, unfortunately, Tech Jacket is not what I would necessarily refer to as like a big name or even like an important name, with the exception of Robert Kirkman wrote both series, and a character introduced in one ended up being way more popular with their own. But it is set in the same universe, obviously, as Invincible. Zach appears in the Viltrumite War storyline. He collaborates with other characters that have also gotten their own spin-offs, and Tech Jacket has finally appeared in animation in Season 3 of Invincible on Prime Video. So let's see. Now, here's how it was received. According to the website The Story Graph, which I use to kind of like take a look at like book recommendations for comics, that kind of thing, it got about 3 stars out of 5 from just a handful of reviews. Like I said, not a lot of people read Tech Jacket, at least the 8-issue run. Now, the 12-issue run had an 8.5 out of 10. A few more reviews, but otherwise not really that great. I mean, it's kind of a shame because the art is good. I mean, Kirkman's writing is still Kirkman's writing, and Kirkman's writing is good. It just happened to be one of those situations where a character just didn't click, but someone else did, and so that character gets to live on. So that's kind of a short, long box, but that's everything you really need to know about Tech Jacket.
Kirkman is really good, I think, in making characters that you don't necessarily like. With the Walking Dead series, like...
Perfect example.
Of just, it's a whole bunch of people that you kind of hope that they die.
They're all terrible.
Pretty much. Even there's the obvious terrible ones, and then there's the less obvious terrible ones that are sometimes worse. So is Tech Jacket a likable character? Or
I would say so. Yeah, I mean, he never came across to me as unlikable. Just every time he appeared in Invincible, and that's how I first found out about the character, he came across kind of like the Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle, as an in over his head, but capable. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like Spider-Man in real, in his life.
Yeah,
it's like he's certainly capable of doing the things. He's just letting it get to him.
Yeah. Well, I would say, though, Kirkman's got real strength in characters, because Mark Grayson, Invincible, Adam Eve, now we've got Tech Jacket. These are characters that, even if you only see them for, like, a couple of pages, you get who they are. You understand what their motivations are, and, the likable characters end up being really likable, and the ones that are not meant to be likable are downright dastardly. So, yeah, good job.
So, well, that's cool. I look forward. I'll probably try to find the original run of Tech Jacket then, because that sounds fun.
Yeah. I haven't checked Hoopla, but Hoopla does have the entire run of Invincible, so I wouldn't be surprised if they have Tech Jacket as well.
I have exhausted my monthly...
Yeah.
It's May 1st, and I've exhausted my monthly allotment of...
Put it on the list.
It's on my list.
Put it on the list. So, all right. Well, if there's no further business, thanks a lot for hanging out with us. Be sure to check out our other podcasts, including Deep Cave Gaming tomorrow and movies a day after that. We've also got You Want Me to Watch What? The Week 3 podcast, the occasional TLDR. You can find us on Twitch at twitch.tv/Deep Cave Podcast. Find content on our YouTube channel, and you can find links to all that stuff and our Discord at deepcavepodcast.com. I don't have an out-of-context comic book panel, so instead, what I'm going to do is just repeat to you the beginning of my review from... Oh, no, wait, I do have one. So, picture this in your mind's eye. Nightcrawler, staring straight ahead, right at the reader.
Bit of a smirk.
It's a close-up, and all he says is, "We need to make more mutants." For Jad, Justin, Kent, I'm Darren. I need a shower, and everyone is a geek for something.